depending on what time you're watching this, it's probably good afternoon. This is being released, of course, at midday on a Good Friday. The rather disturbing sound that you'll hear in the background throughout this video is one of the things that I want to talk about. It's the wooden clappers that I used in Malta, and here's a picture of one. So it's basically like 4 wooden tubes with hammers between them that are rotated constantly. In Malta, the tradition is that bells are not used from the Mass on Maundy Thursday, the Mass that precludes the vigil, vigil usually until midnight, but it's series through the night until Good Friday, when Jesus was in the Garden of Gethsemane. We don't use bells then, we use these things. I'll put the name up there. I can't pronounce that. I've been trying all week to learn how to pronounce that and I can't do it. So they can't be quiet. It's Malta, you're not going to be quiet. They use these things instead, and they make this horrendous racket. And the sound of wood hitting wood is a warning that death is coming. So it's actually quite a disturbing sound, I think. There's 2 sounds that I find actually really sort of put me on edge. One is these things, and the other is the escape alarm. The old escape alarms are gone now. The old escape alarms from Broadmoor Hospital, which you can find on the internet. That's an air raid siren, but it's a 2-tone air raid siren, and that is also a real spine-chilling sound. It is perhaps appropriate that we signify Good Friday, which is the most solemn celebration, or not solemn celebration. I mean, how do you have a solemn celebration? It's the most solemn day in the church's calendar. It needs to be marked in some way publicly, not just by hiding in churches. Excuse me. Now, of course, in Malta there are the great processions of on Good Friday, which I mean, locally, my local church up the hill joined together with the Catholics and the United Reformed, and you might get 40 of them sort of amble vaguely down through the shopping precinct and out onto the cliff tops. And it's all very disorganised, and yeah, you sort of left wondering, really. Every now and again they'll stop, and the guys and have a little pray, and the guys in the pub will come out and sort of look at them a bit odd like. And that's about it. We do ring half muffled. Well, we would do, except we're not allowed to because Boris has said no. But we still ring down the major scale. Except at my tower where we wouldn't. We would, partly because we don't have 8. If we had 8, one might find it difficult. But because we tend to only have 6, we would shift round into a minor scale. So we ring 2 to 7 rather than 3 to 8. So it sounds different and people notice. As ringers, we don't do that much. We're very traditional and we ring down the major scale. And if you suggest doing anything else, people start throwing their hands up in horror saying, oh no, we can't do that. The world will end. No, it won't. It's something that I'm going to suggest now, because today is the most solemn day in the church's calendar, that as ringers we need to look at marking the church year in various ways by the way in which we use bells and the way in which we make them sound, and we've got to break away from this idea that if we do anything that's new or different that the world will suddenly end. It won't. That's it for the bells. The wooden clappers are still going. So I'm just, because we're not having Ignatius today, we're not going to have him now until probably Tuesday. I'm going to just sort of have a quick think about something I read earlier, that didn't occur to me. As part of the Eucharist, Mass, Communion, breaking of bread in the Anglican Church, one of the prayers, I can't remember if it's optional or not, speaks of you opened your arms wide upon the cross. And that has a significance. We open our arms wide when we see a long lost friend. What does it mean? means, yeah, it's a welcoming action. It's come to me. And it's usually followed by a big hug. And Jesus opened his arms wide upon the cross. It's actually an incredibly symbolic thing. I wonder if Ignatius will mention it. It's very unlikely. I've read quite a bit of Ignatius' letters, but it was a long time ago, so it's refreshing for me to do it again. We will certainly. I will be on the lookout to see if the Apostolic Fathers are anywhere in any of their writings actually come up with the symbolism of some of the actions in the crucifixion. I mean, there were many ways of crucifying people. You could crucify people like that, or with their hands tied behind their backs. You turn them upside down, so they hang on their shoulders. And crucifixion was not designed to be a quick and merciful death. It was designed to be incredibly painful over a long period of time, and it could take people days to die on the cross. So to have the arms open is actually quite symbolic. To have the arms open, and the open arms is a sign of welcome. It's an interesting juxtaposition to think about, particularly today, but also perhaps beyond today, perhaps on Sunday, on the great festival of the resurrection. We won't be opening our arms wide for our friends because we're not allowed to see them. And this Easter I will find very, very difficult. Easter is one of my more favourite times of year. Partly because of the religion, in fact almost entirely because of the religion. And we're not having any of that. You've got to sit there and watch it on the internet. That's about it. I'm going to stop now so that we can stop this infernal racket and go away with the sound of wooden clappers in our minds, thinking that maybe other countries do have a better way of doing things and put more effort into things, and perhaps we should put more effort in. Will I see you on Christmas Sunday? Christmas Sunday? Easter Sunday? Yeah, being locked indoors is slowly driving me mad, as you may have noticed. I don't know, but if I do, I've got the bunny ears.